Hello, good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Please, if you can see me and if you can hear me, kindly leave a comment so I know that you can see and hear me. Okay. Hi, Zaman from Afghanistan. Nice to meet you. Hi, Mohammed from Herat. Nice to meet you. Wow, I think this is the first time I'm hearing Herat. Nice to meet you, Mohammed. Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you. Hello. Welcome to today's event, the Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Welcome, Zaman. Welcome, Mohammed from Afghanistan and Paris. Please, if you can see me, if you can hear me, kindly leave a comment so I know that you can. Hi, Chosen. Welcome to today's show. Welcome to today's event. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Nice to meet you. Please, if you can see me, if you can hear me clearly, please leave a comment so that I know you can. So today we'll be learning how to win a fully funded scholarship, and we will not just be learning based on theory, we'll be learning from practical experiences. We'll be learning from people that have successfully secured fully funded scholarships, not just from a particular scholarship body, but from various scholarship bodies. So you know that you're in for a very, very exclusive ride here. Hi, Princess. Nice to meet you, Madam Curator. Hi, Niniola. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Hi, Joshua from Togo. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Hi, Najiba. Nice to meet you. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. So if you know that there's someone that you would like to be on the stream and the person is not here, please share the link, invite a friend, whoever you want, whoever you've been rooting for to win a fully funded scholarship, please share the link and invite them to join this call. It's going to be an amazing session. We have our panelists are people that have secured fully funded scholarships from different bodies. Okay, so now I'll move on to talk about our panelists because we have such limited time and out of their busy schedule, they have taken out time to do this with us. So you know what it means for them to come on board and come to talk to us about how they have been able to secure these scholarships. So I'll begin by introducing our panelists so we get started into our main reasons for gathering today. I'll begin by introducing our panelists. And the first person I'll introduce is MD Tiamiyu. So MD Tiamiyu is an experienced IT consultant. He is Oracle Certified Professional Database Administrator, an ICIL Certified Service Manager, and Prince 2 Certified Practitioner with a background in computer science and proven track record in delivering multi-million pound projects for both public and private sector clients. He, he brings rounded multi-sector experience as client-side and consultancy in innovative business leadership and the practical delivery of projects, encompassing the whole project life cycle from inception through to completion. Having managed several projects, he is able to collaborate with different levels of stakeholders, including senior management, lead project teams, and deliver client-focused results on time and within budget. So, with a round of applause in the comment section, let me see you. Welcome, Mr. MD Tiamiyo. Mr. MD, welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. Thank you so much for doing this with us. It's so nice to see you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So I'll introduce our next panelist, Blessing Ajimoti. So Blessing is committed to leveraging programs and public policy to drive economic development. Her experiences span the public service and private and the non-profit sectors in Nigeria and the United Kingdom. Over time, She has contributed to economic development through entrepreneurship, ecosystem support, private sector development, business development, public policy, and digital skills education to drive access to jobs. Currently, she is a policy advisor and works in international development to support Nigeria's public and private sectors with the capacity, resources, evidence, and advocacy needed for business enabling reforms, grow MSMEs' incomes, drive job creation, and promote, facilitate, and retain investment. She has worked on and supported projects with and funded the European Union, Amazon Web Services (AWS), the Prince Trust, Oxfam, Venture Capital for Africa (L'Oreal), and Nigeria's federal and state governments, among others. While working in Nigeria, Blessing contributed to programs that bridged the investment, policy, and technology gaps in Nigeria's ICT innovation and entrepreneurship ecosystem. Blessing holds a Master's of Policy from the University of Oxford, a Master of Business Administration from the Quantic School of Business and Technology, and is a 2018 Africa Initiative for Governance Scholar. She is an alumna of the Global Shapers Community, where she served on and now advises the Abuja Global Shapers Employability and Entrepreneurship Program team. Blessing is a 2018 Mandela Washington Fellow, Business and Entrepreneurship of the USAID and IREF Young African Leaders Initiative. Also, she is an Associate Fellow of the Royal Commonwealth Society, London, on the recommendation of the Queen's Young Leaders Program. So, with a round of applause once again, let's welcome Blessing Adimoti on board. Welcome so much, Blessing. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Good evening, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much. So, our last panelist for today, Olufumilayo Oni. Olufumilayo Oni has over 6 years of experience in the community development sector, focused on ending poverty among women and girls living in urban slums and disadvantaged communities. She is the executive director of Iran Wolf Foundation, where she provides access to education, initiates and implements empowerment programs for women and girls. She holds a bachelor's degree in economics and education, and she is a 2017 Global Youth Ambassador for Education. She is an alumnus of Barack Obama's yearly RLC and a young leader at the prestigious One Young World in London, youth delegate at the World Youth Forum in Egypt, where she served as a discussant in a roundtable discussion with the President H.E. Abdul Fattah el-Sisi. Olufumilayo was also recognized by Channel in 2019 as one of the 15 young leaders advancing the roles and rights of women in the world. She is a member of the prestigious African Women Entrepreneurs Cooperative, AWEC, and the 2020 recipient of Diana Award. Recently, she was awarded the Roger Casement Fellowship, Irish Aid Scholarship, to study for her master's degree at the University College Dublin. She hopes to witness a completely liberated and equal society. Welcome so much, Olufumilayo. Thank you so much for doing this with us. Ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause in the comment section. Let's welcome our panelists on board. Thank you so much, everyone, for doing this with us. Hi, Gideon, I can see you. Hi, Patience. Welcome to Milestones by Abuja Global Shapers. So we're going to go right straight into sharing your experiences. Please, if you can see me and if you can hear me, kindly let me know in the comment section that you can see and hear me. Hi, Olufumilayo. Hi, Blessing.
Hello, are you able to hear me?
Yes, I can. Okay, so we're going to begin with you sharing your experiences with us. How have you been able to secure a fully funded scholarship? How were you able to do this? And we'd like to hear your story. How were you able to do this? Before we move on to the Q&A where everyone can ask their questions.
Hi, is the question directed? Okay, I think I'll just go first. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. For me, my journey was quite challenging because I graduated with a second class lower. I had a 3.31 over 5. And then usually when you check scholarships, many very prestigious scholarships, they make it known that they would rather a 2-1, that is, yeah. So I really found it hard because many scholarships that I would like to apply for, but I felt that I'm a perfect fit for, I couldn't apply for them. But then in 2018, um, someone got the Shevlin scholarship, and she sent me a DM on Facebook and said, "Oh, you're doing amazing work. Are you applying for Shevlin?" And I said, "No, I'm not applying for Shevlin because I have a two, I have a tutu and I'm not a perfect fit." So she was like, "Oh no, you can apply for the Shevlin scholarship." I had a tutu. I also got the Shevlin scholarship. I think that was in 2018, and that was the beginning of my journey with scholarship because it gave me hope that I could actually do this and I can compete with many others. I did apply in 2018 for Shevlin. I didn't get it. I didn't make it to the next stage. In 2019, I applied again, and then I was selected as a reserve candidate. In 2020 to 2021, I applied again, and then I didn't even make it to the interview this time. I also applied for numerous other scholarships. Um, I remember I applied for the MasterCard scholarship in McGill. I applied to many schools in Canada that had funding. I also applied to quite a number of schools in the US. And the feedback I received from many professors was that, "Oh, you have great leadership skills, and then I'll be happy to work with you if you can scale through the school recommendation, that is to have a at least a 2-1." So I had this limit anytime I tried to apply because I was getting the same feedback. I remember that one very prestigious scholarship sent me a personal email and said, "Oh, that I'm a perfect fit, but that they have this strict rule that it has to be a 2-1, and then that because I do not have a because I have a 2-2, that they have to let me go." So it was really bad. But I knew something that I had a lot of leadership experience that would be really beneficial, even in my course of study. And I know that I'm a perfect candidate for many of the scholarships. So I kept on applying. This year, I applied for the Road Placement Fellowship, which is the Irish Aid Scholarship in Nigeria, Shevlin Scholarship, and also Erasmus. But for weird reasons, I applied for the Erasmus Scholarship, but I didn't submit it. I was supposed to pay a certain sum of money, but I didn't pay because I couldn't figure out how to pay, and then I missed the deadline. So I applied for only the Shevlin Scholarship and the Roger Kisbent Fellowship in Nigeria, which is the Irish Aid Scholarship. I made it to the interview for both of them, and I was awarded both scholarships, funnily on the same day this year, within 3 hours. So, but I did learn a very valuable lesson lots of lessons during my scholarship journey. That lots of there are so many things that happens during the scholarship selection and all that, and why academic experience is very important, why your grades are very, very important. Because in my case, I strongly believe that I would have gotten a scholarship way before now. Your leadership experiences too are very, very important to securing the scholarship because many people want to know that you have experience in what you want to study. I study for the master. I'm studying for the masters in policy studies at the University College of Dublin, and because a lot of my work involves human rights, I was able to prove to both Chevening and the Roger Kisman Fellowship that I have lots of experience in advancing human rights in Nigeria, and I am a perfect candidate for the scholarship. And during this lesson, I have learned during this journey, I have learned some lessons, and some of the things that I have learned that worked for me was the fact that I documented all my leadership experience. For example, when I was in the university as an undergrad, I used to be a member of Enactors. Enactors is a campus-based organization, and as an Enactors, we're led to develop projects that would change the lives of people in our immediate community. And I did work with a number of students where we were able to develop change making projects in the community in my school then. And I remember that in my Shevlin essay and as well as my rejackation essay, I made references to everything I did as an actors member. I also know that I applied to lots of scholarships. In 2021, I must have applied to about 10 different scholarships. I was receiving rejection mails back to back, back to back, back to back. But the whatever I write today, tomorrow, is better than what I wrote yesterday. The more I received rejection, the better I was at writing my essays, and it helped me build skills. I also spoke to lots of previous scholars. There was a time I applied to the World Bank scholarship. For every scholarship that I identified, I also always identified previous scholars that I would speak to. And when I speak with them, they will share key insights that you might not know, but when they share the insights with you, and then you realize that their insight is very, very important to what you are doing. And it helped me in structuring my essays and in fine tuning my essays to meet the criteria of what they wanted. I also usually reach out to scholars to help me review my essays. You know, what I would ask them, what was your interview like? What did you write in your essay? Is it convenient for you to help me review my essays? So by doing this, it really, really helped me a lot. And then while I was applying for scholarships, I had young people in my circle. All of us, we used to call it hustling for scholarships. So we were all young people whose goal at that point in time was to have a master's degree, and we were seeking for scholarship. So every time we'd share our experience, we share new scholarships amongst ourselves. You sometimes it's just for motivation because you're feeling down, you're feeling rejected. Someone somewhere to tell you that, oh, you don't have to feel rejected. This is going to happen. Because I was working with a team of young people, it was very, very easy for us. I also remember that in 2022, most of my friends, in 2020, that was the year of my friends. Everyone in my circle, they all got different scholarships, MasterCard, Commonwealth, Shepping, except me. But then they also stood with me. And then every year they would continue to encourage me that, oh, your time is going to come. You have to continue to do this. You're amazing. And it really, really helped me this year. And then most importantly, I'll reiterate that it is always very, very important to build leadership skills. Many young people volunteer for different things. You know, your volunteering is never a waste because it shows that you have skills that are important for learning for your academics. So these are a few of my experiences, and I hope it helps people.
Yes, you so much, Oluwafunmilayo, for sharing your experience with us. Please, if you can see and if you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section. So we'll move. MD, please share your experience with us. Please, Oluwafunmilayo, I don't know why I keep calling you Olufunmilayo. Please hold on for the Q&A session. We'll be having the Q&A session after this. Please hold on for the Q&A session.
Okay. Favor, are you there? Hello.
Yes, I am.
All right, great. So, thank you for the opportunity and well done for sharing. Oluwafunmilayo Oni. All right, so nice to meet all of you guys. Mine is not a very scholarship-ish because I have indeed coached a lot of people, but a lot of the things I have won in this light are professional development trainings, right, that are sponsored by either the government of the People's Republic of China or the US government or the UK government, blah, blah, blah. So I do understand how some of these things work, but I like to share more on the general understanding that people need to have when they are approaching stuffs like this, okay? So, for example, when we talk about scholarship, a lot of people do not really understand what it is. So, it takes years and time for them to catch the vibe, you know. But if you understand what it is, essentially, it would help you to put your effort and energy in context. So, here is how I define scholarships. Yeah. It is a reward for an excellent past, right? And a support towards a promising future. If you're going to win scholarships, opportunity for professional development, you need to kind of combine both. And the ways you measure it can now be really vast, right? So first is a scholarship is a reward for an excellent past. So are you an excellent person? Have you done stuff that are excellent? Can you show it? Can you prove it? If you can show us that you've had an excellent past, and past can be as recently as yesterday, and it can be as recently as 10 years ago. All right, your journey up till now. We are trying to reward you not because we like your face or not because you come from a particular country or zone. We're rewarding you for having an excellent past and having a promising future that we can support. That's what, if you see somebody who win, who's won Chevening or who's won a program to go sponsor, to go study something somewhere, or whatever name the scholarship is branded. This is the reason why they were chosen. So when you know the reason, you know what to bring to the table, right? The number two is this, because a lot of the people on this call are looking for education, yeah? You need to understand that quality education anywhere in the world is never cheap and is never free, right? So someone is essentially paying. So if you get a scholarship, it doesn't mean that the education you are getting is free. They still get to pay, right? So you have to justify your application, and you're asking for that fellow scholarship needs to justify the amount of money that's about to be paid. All right. So all of these things need to be working in your mind. So it now comes to terms with how much of what they're looking for, all right, do you bring to the table? So every scholarship or fellowship, be it Commonwealth, be it Erasmus, be it MasterCard, be it Chevening or any other one, there's an objective and a focus. All right. So this could help you as well. You need to understand that the people who are offering this scholarship essentially are paying, right? It doesn't mean, oh, it's so easy for them and the money is just there. No, they get to decide, and it's a huge investment they're making for you. So you want to ask yourself before you open the portal and create an account, or try your luck. You want to ask yourself, what's the objective of these people? What are they trying to achieve? And at the background of that objective, there's usually a focus. So, for example, Fumilola mentioned leadership. Generally speaking, all of these scholarship bodies would ask you for some leadership experience, because that means you're already stepping forward in the pack, right? In the midst of your colleagues, in the midst of your peers, you're already doing something different. You're already taking responsibilities. So it could be leadership. Generally, it is. Yeah. And most of the times it could now be tailored towards maybe empowerment for women. So if the scholarship is about women empowerment, if you're a guy, I'm wondering why you are shooting that shot, right? Because you are most likely not going to get selected. All right. So don't waste it. Don't waste it. Some scholarships are focused on people living with disability, for example. You need to really understand when you get, and that's where the insight comes in, right? When Oluwafemilola was talking about insight, this is what people in the program or who have gone through the system will tell you. These scholarship people, they are looking for exactly something that sounds like this. When you tailor your own journey or your story along that line, you have a very, 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 very high chance. And this is how I like to approach things, not just about, because what I did and worked for me may not exactly work for you, but I like to understand the foundational principles, right? E.g., I'll tell you an example. If you are looking for chevening, because I've been given the chevening thing to talk about. If you're looking for chevening, you need to understand that on the subtle level, chevening is a little elitist, and chevening is also very focused on building a support system for the work they're doing in your country. Right. So if you are joking about your recommendation letters and you go get random recommendation letters, it's going to backfire. You are likely not going to go far. So when you understand how Chimney thinks, how the people who read your essays, how the people who choose, who makes the scholars, how they think and their objectives, all right, and the focus they have probably for that year. Some years they want to talk about sustainability and they're looking for people who have sustainability stories. All right, some years they want to talk about this, they want to talk about that. So when you understand these general principles that a scholarship essentially is rewarding you for an excellent past and trying to support you towards a promising future, right? You need to bring both to the table, regardless of what the questions are. The questions may change year after year, the procedure may change, but these are the two key things they're looking for: a good past, a promising future. Number two is that they are also trying to justify the money they're about to spend on you. They're going to be booking your flight, putting you, in suitable accommodation, paying for the whole academic journey, or if it is just professional training, whatever it is, also your health and safety, feeding, blah, 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 is on them. So they're justifying that. So your application needs to come, and justify that for them. And then it needs to feed their objective. When it does that, then boom, you are going to be on your way. So there are four other things you need to look at if you're looking at the chevening thing. Number one is alignment. Do you align with the chevening objective? Like I told you, I've reviewed lots and lots of chevening applications, yeah. So, and I also have featured lots of chevening scholars. I'm not a chevening scholar myself, right? I'm in the UK for a different reason, a different professional reason. But one of the things that I know for sure that chevening looks for is the alignment. They want to be sure that your goal, current and the future, aligns with the broad chevening objectives. So, and that could come from insights. If you get to speak with scholars, who have benefited from this fellowship, from this scholarship. The number two is you have to follow the guidelines. There are some simple procedures that have already been outlined. You want to be sure you are doing it right by the application process. There's a process to chevening, for example. If I have time, I'll be able to talk about that. Then there's a storytelling bit. Unfortunately, storytelling, as important as it is as a skill, we don't really get to emphasize it. It is out when you grow in your career, in your life, that you begin to understand how important storytelling as a skill is. Usually when you get bounced, when you're not selected, it's often because you're not telling a compelling or a convincing story, right? But we think storytelling is one thing that our grandmother does, yeah? And our granddad does. Storytelling is everything. You could have lots and lots of impact, but you are not able to tell your story in a way that the scholarship board can find. You remember what I mentioned, alignment. They want to see that your past, present, and future aligns with the objectives of the scholarship body, right? So do not just see applications for scholarships open. They don't open this one, let me fire my application. They don't open this one, let me go and try my luck. Before you try your luck, ask yourself those foundational questions I've already put forth, all right? What is their objective? What is their focus this year? How do you justify the money that's about to be spent? Because it's not free. It may be free to you because you are not paying the bills, but they are going to be paying, all right? And then why do you qualify? Once you're able to answer those important questions, attempting to respond to the essays would now look a little easier. All right. So once you have alignment, you follow the guidelines, and I can talk about the guidelines quickly. Then you would now want to tell your story. And in telling your story, you may benefit from mentorship, like Oluwafumilola said. You may benefit from mentorship. People who have been able to tell their stories and won will be able to rephrase some of your sentences. Sometimes you use too many words, when you can use shorter words to communicate the same thing. Sometimes you need to use some particular kind of words to convey a deeper meaning to where you are coming from and what you have done in terms of impact. Sometimes you need to show statistics, the number of people you have reached, the number of people you plan to reach. You need to also communicate reality. That is, your numbers need to match what's existing, in alternative sources of data regarding your field. If you're in the educational sector, for example, and you want to quote the number of out of school children, you cannot pick a number from your head. You need to fact check a couple of things and tell your story around existing realities. And when you do that, it would really, really, really. The reason why I cannot tell you how I got Chivney is because I haven't been a Chivney scholar. I can tell you about some other scholarship I have won. And that may not really relate, to the show. All right. So if you're applying for Chivney, for example, you need to watch out for the application window. When it is open, you will apply. They require you to apply for 3 universities. All right. So as you are applying to Chivney, who is the body, footing the bill, the school you want to go for? And for people who are new to this, Chivney is for masters. All right. They may not be able to sponsor you for your MBA, right? But for an academic master's, Chivney is able to sponsor you to any university in the United Kingdom. Now, there are 2 sets of universities when it comes to Chivney application. First is what they like to call the Chivney partner schools, and then the non-Chivney partner schools. And what is the difference between these schools? There are some schools in the UK who have agreed. Remember, I mentioned objectives in the beginning of my conversation. There's some cool schools in the UK who have looked at the Chivney's objective and say, you know what, we love these objectives. We are going to pay 30% of the bill for whoever is a Chivney scholar coming to our school. So let's say the value of your education for masters is 10 naira. All right. Let's say the value of your master's degree is 10 naira. If you get a Chivney scholar, if you get a Chivney scholarship offer, apologies. If you get a Chivney scholarship offer, instead of you paying the 10 naira from your pocket, all right, Chivney gets to pay the 10 naira to the school you are going. That's exactly what it is. It's a pure goodwill. It's a transaction. They are paying for your school. It doesn't mean the education is free, like I mentioned. A lot of people just think it will be free. No, you are bringing something to the table. However, if you have chosen a Chivney scholar school, all right, a Chivney partner school, apologies again. If you have chosen a Chivney partner school, Chivney only gets to pay 70%. That is 7 naira. The school would overlook 3 naira out of the 10 naira that you're supposed to pay. Yeah, you need to learn how to communicate clearly. Let me see, I said that. That is very, very important. Communication, storytelling, it's everything. This is something that people miss out of. If you see somebody who said, apply year 1, apply year 2, apply year 3, if you ask them what changed, it is storytelling. They only retold the same story in a different way. And that story is now told in a way that aligns to the objective of the scholarship body. Every time you do this, you have a higher chance. All right. So you can skip. A lot of people will try a scholarship offer for 3 different times. Some people get it the first time. What do you think is different? Not so much. It is the way they told their story and aligned it to the objective of the people who are going to be spending the money. So, for example, University of Sussex is a Chivney partner. All right. So, and somehow Chivney scholars will tell you, Chivney scholars will tell you that if you choose a Chivney partner school, you have a higher chance of getting selected than when you choose a non-Chivney partner school. This is where insights come in. All right. You remember I mentioned those things in the beginning. Chivney is about to pay, but instead of paying 10 naira, they would prefer to pay 7 naira because you have chosen. So if it comes down to you and another candidate, are you with me? If it comes down to you and another candidate, if you choose a general school that's not a Chivney partner school, it's not like they are not going to select you. They will. But if it comes down to you and another guy who was choosing a Chivney partner school, that could be the reason why they choose that guy above you. Am I making sense? Because by choosing that guy, they get to pay less, all right, then they get to pay for you. So Chipney requires you to apply to at least 3 universities, and applying to UK university is so straightforward. If you check my YouTube channel, I've given lots and lots of guides regarding this. I've featured lots and lots of Chipney scholars. I also did another one. Yeah, I also did another one for Commonwealth specifically, right? So you can find all of those videos that are very, very detailed, secret, like pure secrets, free of charge ones. They are there on my YouTube channel. You can check them out. All right. So when you do this, you get a higher chance. And every year, Chipney asks you 4 questions. Each of these questions, you get to write an essay of 500 words. Listen, if you don't know what you are writing, 500 words is too much. All right. But if you have a lot of things to share, 500 words may be too small again. So how do you manage the word count? It is when you are beginning to share that okay, this word counts. No be small thing, no be moi moi. So the very first thing Chipney wants to know is leadership and influence. They want to know how you've been leading, what influence you have had in the world. Remember my definition of a scholarship. It is a reward for an excellent past and a support for a promising future. If you have an excellent past, but it doesn't sound like your future is promising, or yours is your case, you don't tick the 2 boxes. If you don't have an excellent past, but you just wake up now and you want to save the world, moving forward, or yours is still your case, you need to be able to tick both boxes. An excellent past, a promising future. Once your story shows those 2 sides, you are very, very highly likely to move forward in the application processes. So the very first question, Chipney is going to ask you a question about leadership and influence. And for so many years, this has not changed. Question number 1 is leadership and influence. All right. Question number 2 is a networking question, because you're going to be meeting with lots of people who are fellow scholars on the scholarship. You're also going to meet with lecturers, academic professors. You're going to meet with general people in the United Kingdom. They want to know what you're going to do with that pool of resources. You need to be able to share how you have done it in the past, how you are currently doing it now, and how you're going to do it if you get the chance, to come to the UK for your master's paid by Chipney. All right. Then the third one is studying in the UK. This is where you get to share why you chose the schools you chose and why you chose the courses you chose in those schools. All right. For what reason and for what purposes? You also get to share that in 500 words or less. My advice is this. Every time you're giving a word count, whether it's Chipney, it's Commonwealth, is Erasmus, is MasterCard, whatever it is, make sure you use at least 80% of the word count. Hello, somebody. Make sure you use at least 80% of the word count. And for a 500 word count, that is 400 at least. You ask me why, yeah? The reason is this. If you use less than 400 words when you have been given 500, it sends a message that you do not have enough of things to share. All right? It sends a message that you don't have enough things to share. Because normally, if you meet me for a road or we jam for inside motor, all right, and you want to share with me the things that you have done, bros, if you see me, if you see what I don't do, you would need more than 500 words normally. So how come we give you 500 words and you can't even use up to 400? These are part of the subtle things they check. All right, you need to use at least 400. You can use all of it if you care, because that's the maximum they've given you, but at least peg it at minimum of 400. Okay, usually it won't be enough. So, but in case you don't know how to use it, that's the minimum limit. But it is not written. These are unwritten rules, right? When you're applying. The final question Chipney would ask you is about your career plan, right? Career plan is where they justify the promising future I mentioned in my first sentence. They want to know when you come back home, what exactly are you going to do with this degree? Is it going to sit on your shelf, or you just want to do it for your village people's sake, or because somebody in your area has done waka to you? Yes, the tips for Chipney applies to other scholarships as well. That's correct. Let me see. Now, maybe somebody in your village has already done waka to you and said you cannot make it in life, and you want to use Chipney to prove them wrong. Tell us. This is where you get to tell us your career plan. What are you going to do next when you get the master's degree? All right. You want to attach it to a long-term goal. And this comes to you being able to actually answer these questions yourself. Because last, if you don't have a direction or if you don't know where you are going, honestly, those are the great points. Thanks, MD. I appreciate you too. Allah Gia. I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name properly. Once you're able to answer this career plan question, and usually Chivney will add a caveat, they will say that you may wish to align these with the UK government effort in your country. This is how we know from experience that Chivney is trying to sponsor scholars as a supporting system for the UK government effort in the country. So if you're a Kenyan on this call listening to us, the UK government has lots of stuff they are doing in your country. All right. So they already have people who do those things. But if you come back as a Chivney scholar, you get to add to the resources that can support them in some way, shape, or form. So if you are able to align your work or the course you're studying, with existing efforts, and there's a lot of them if you do your research. All right. So do not just shoot blank bullets and blank. Somebody will tell me, MD, I've been applying for this Chivney thing for 5 different years. Why? Why do you need to apply 6 times? It's not that hard. Do you understand? It's not that hard. It is not at all. So this is the Chivney process. And Chivney now requires you to get 2. They will not tell you it's high level, but it has to be high level recommendation letters. For example, the Mandela Washington Fellowship, and unfortunately that just closed for those who didn't apply for this year. You do not need a recommendation letter for the Mandela Washington Fellowship. All you need is a compelling story. All right. If you get a recommendation letter, it will look like you're doing too much, but it's not bad. But it doesn't really add or remove from your chances of being selected for the MWF. This is an opportunity that takes you to the United States, all expenses paid for 6 weeks. It's a leadership training, that includes a lot of academic sides to it. All right. Now, if you are applying for Chivney, it's a different ballgame. For Chivney, you must get 2 recommendation letters. And they're not just recommendation letters that are strong. All right. So do not go and use your line manager at work. Nobody knows her. Okay. Don't go and get your line manager except you work for Elon Musk. Okay, yes. If you work for Elon Musk, do everything possible to get a letter from him, or you work for Jeff Bezos, right? But if it's your line manager in that your office, maybe you may want to consider somebody else who has some sort of, verifiable profile, blah, blah, blah. Chivney loves it. It will take you time, but if you get into the system, you begin to see that they actually love those kind of things. So you are required to submit 2 recommendation letters. If you follow this procedure, you answer the 4 questions properly, you follow the simple guidelines, you get very, high level recommendations based on your work. All right. Don't go and cook up recommendations because they would confirm these things. If you get high level recommendation from your line of work, this is to justify your excellent past. All right, last, and to validate your promising future, because they believe that the people who recommend you, they serve like some sort of guarantors, and they also validate the fact that they go somewhere. You understand? They road to somewhere important. So the more important the people who write your recommendation letters are, the higher your chances of getting Chivney, for example. And I'm focusing on Chivney because that's what I was actually meant to talk about. And then what next? Once you get the fellowship or the scholarship, rather, there are 3 things you need to do. One is take it. All right, don't sleep on it. Take it. If you see this makes sense, take it immediately and maximize it. Do not come to the UK and sit in one corner of your room and just go from hostel to dorm and then maybe mosque or church. I hope I'm still live because I lost the host, but I'll call on because it looks like I'm still live. If we're live, please type it to the comments so I can move on and continue with the conversation. Right. So make the best out of the opportunity. Usually when you come to the UK like that, your time starts counting down. All right. And when you go back to your country, there's a requirement for you to sort of stay back in your country of origin for 2 years. They're hoping that you use the impact, everything you have learned. You're going to use it, to the best of the benefit. All right. They're hoping that you're going to use it to the best of the benefit of your people. Okay, great. So I'll just keep on, and then we'll expect the host to join us. So take it. Once you take it, you jump on it, then you maximize it while at it. Then the last bit of it is make true your dreams. Because you see, last, once you get Chivney, you go to the UK, study, and go back to your country. They know they too stress you again. except for emails or invitations to events, come and attend this one, come on. They do not really, there's no real way to hold you accountable to your dreams. So this is really up to you, all right, to be real and to do what you said you are going to do. All right, yeah, Mrs. back here. All right, so
Yeah. Thank you so much, MD. Is it possible for you to just wrap up quickly so other panelists can share and we can have questions from the audience? This has been so amazing.
definitely,
Thank you.
yeah, definitely. I can actually stop now. I was just holding on for the host to join me because I was the only one at the back end. So the
Okay.
next speaker can actually speak. I'll just pause it here.
All right. Thank you so much, MD. So many amazing tips. My notes is already so full. Hi, Blessing. Looking forward to Blessing. Are you here?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. All right.
Thank you very much, MT. The problem with me last in speaking at engagements like this is I'm going to go ahead already do justice to what we're discussing. So yeah, thank you so much, Andy, for those contributions, and also Lua Fumilayo as well. So I'm not, yeah, I guess I'll just talk about. I guess I'll just provide some sort of a general overview, like with examples of some of the things that I did, and then I guess when we go into the Q&A, I'll be able to provide maybe a bit more context or nuance to some of the questions that might come up. So I'll try as much as possible to not repeat some of the things that have been said. So generally, well, MD actually put it well. Scholarships or this kinds of really funded opportunities are a testament to the great past you've had and the promising that you're looking at. And so just thinking about that practically, how do you work on that great past? Because there are people, I understand there are people here who have probably never, who have never applied for a scholarship, or maybe have applied the first time, they're just not sure how, they went wrong. And I was just thinking, perhaps I could take a bit more step back to talk about some of the things they could do. So I've broken it down to the preparation part for that past, and then also the application phase. I think for the preparation part, that's just where you build up that promising future. Even if you're starting today or you decide to start tomorrow, I think it's very important for you to identify what you care about. What are you passionate about? Because whatever it is you're passionate about are things that you would want to do for free. There's things that you would want to stay up and not to study about. There's things someone can just tap you awake and you can talk about on end. So it's very important for you to understand what you care about. How did I identify the things that I cared about? When I was in university, when I was going to university, I thought I was going to be join the Nigerian Foreign Service and become a diplomat. But then I quickly realized while I was studying international relations that although I enjoyed it, I was not really sure about what part of international relations I wanted to be involved in, or to pursue a career in. And so I started to volunteer in school. I started to join different organizations, attend conferences, and that was how I was able to begin to gain clarity on what I cared about and what I wanted to pursue professionally. And so if you don't have that clarity now on how you can begin to build that really, really great past or excellent past, like MD has said, you can explore volunteering, you can explore taking on extra maybe tasks at work where you are now. You can explore maybe taking courses online just to begin to understand, okay, looks like this is what I care about, and this is what I want to pursue a career in. Identifying this is very important because that forms the building blocks for the stories that MD mentioned, the stories that you're going to tell in your application. So so identify what you care about. And then I think Oluwafemi Layo also mentioned, and even MD also mentioned, looking at the profiles or engaging those who have won the kinds of opportunities that you're interested in. So for instance, if you're applying to the Achievement Scholarship or you're applying to the AIG Scholarship, like the one that I won, it's very important that you study the profiles of those who have won the scholarships or who have won these opportunities, and then just look at their trajectory. What does their journey on LinkedIn look like, for instance? When you Google them, what kinds of information pop up about them? And then how can you, of course, you don't necessarily have to have the same, like exact same journey, but to what extent can you maybe model your journey to theirs, just so you stand a better chance? And one of the ways you can do that, people are very busy, I understand. But then, yeah, you could just maybe even follow just the content that they post. And if some have the time, they might even be willing to mentor you or to have like a phone call with you to provide you these details. So it's very important to study profiles of the kinds of content or the kinds of work, the kinds of conferences, the kinds of things that those who have already won these opportunities have done, and then see how, as much as you can, begin to also model your journey to theirs. Going back to things around how you also prepare, how you build this brilliant or this excellent past, it's about taking initiatives. I teach CV writing a lot, or even help my friends to develop their CVs. And really, nobody cares about the routine things you've done. Anybody can be employed to do the same job. So imagine that you're a file carrier in an organization, or you're the person who does the photocopying. Anybody can do the photocopying. What application reviewers are interested in is, oh, so how have you done this photocopying job better than your counterparts? And so it's very important that whatever platforms that you have now, whatever jobs you have now, whatever volunteering, whatever it is that you're rendering, any form of service, whether paid or paid, it's very important now that as part of your way of building a very brilliant or excellent past, that you begin to take initiatives, that you begin to do things constantly, compared like that you don't just do like meet the minimum requirement, but you apply a mindset of excellence to the work that you do, because those are the things that you put in your application. Those are the stories that you're going to tell in your application. Those are the bullet points you're going to put on your CV. Nobody cares about, oh, I led a team that did X, Y, Z. People want to know, oh, I led a team that did X, Y, Z in this very excellent or improved or faster or less expensive or with a better manner or with a better process. So it's very important that you do that now. It's not always easy. Kinds of economic opportunities we have, and by economic opportunities now, I'm saying those who even have jobs, maybe because you have to survive now and live an income. It's not always easy to be able to build your profile or the kind of experience that you need to do your job. It's fine. You can consider volunteering, maybe spend your time on the weekend building those skills, building those experiences that you would put on your CV, or even like building experiences that would form the bedrock of the stories that you tell in your application. And there's something that I do personally at work. So right now I work in international development, and a significant proportion of the work that I do involves supporting government to deliver services that are cheaper, that are faster, and that are less cumbersome for the public, especially towards driving ease of doing business. So that's what I do primarily. But then in my office, the other day I was having a conversation with my manager, and I told him, oh, but then I'm also interested in the intersection of technology and public policy. And so the opportunities on this kind of issues, if you hear about them, maybe their conferences, their materials you stumble on, reports, please send them my way. I'm interested in attending, or if there's opportunity to take on these additional tasks on these issues, please send them my way. I'm happy to volunteer. And so even within my job, people already know what I'm interested in. They stumble on that information because they know that I'm trying to build their capacity or that ability. They send it my way. If, for instance, there's no opportunity to do it in my office, naturally on the weekends, that's what I'm going to spend my time doing. I'm going to look for an organization that does that and probably begin to volunteer with them, or begin to follow or connect with people who are in that space, or even begin to take courses in that regard. Just find a way to begin to build on the experiences, the stories that you want to tell in your application, your CV. So we're still talking about how you build that brilliant past. There is also something you need to do. I know that in Nigeria, for instance, I would like to believe that a majority of those who are on this call now are from Nigeria, and especially if you want a public higher institution of learning, it might be really difficult to get your transcripts, to get some of the documents you need from your university. Just look now, for instance, universities are on strike in Nigeria, and so it's very important that you know that, if you're applying for something, for an opportunity, and that the application, the time that the application will open is coming close. It's very important that you start to put together all of your documents now, whether the application fees you'll need, whether the transcripts you'd need, if there's an exam you need to take as part of the application. It's very important to start to put those together so that when the applications open, you're not beginning to scramble and then lose opportunities. Well, thankfully now there is a reason for Oluwafumilayo to smile. I heard how she said she struggled with trying to pay and for application. You don't want to be in a situation like that, and so it's very important that as much as you can, you prepare. There ain't a lot of opportunities, and so you might now lose an opportunity where you're the perfect fit for, or you stand a very good chance of being. And so as much as you can, it's not always possible to preempt challenges that might come up, but as much as you can, try to solve all of the challenges that you might face as much as you can before they even emerge. So that's just, I guess, generally or quickly what you can do to begin to build that excellent past or leadership skills or leadership experiences, etc. But then in terms of flogging things, when you're applying, I would strongly recommend, and as you've heard even from Milayo, that you apply for more than one opportunity. It's fine for you to shoot for like Tier A school and scholarship, Tier B school and scholarship, and Tier C school and scholarship all at the same time. And then hopefully you get one. In fact, in my when I applied, I also applied to like a Tier A, Tier B, and Tier C school. And interestingly, the only scholarship I was able to win was the one for the Tier A school. That's what took me to Oxford. And so it's very important to not put all of your eggs in one basket, because at the end of the day, you're trying to get somebody to pay for your education. There's something I also want to say, and I like to say, because we're Nigerians, we like to be humble. It's good to be humble. I'm a Christian. Humility is very important. But there are probably 100,000 people applying for the opportunity that you're applying for. Humility will not take you anywhere in your application. In your application, it's very important that you begin to say, this is how excellent I have been. Look at all of look at the big budget programs I've managed. Look at the size of the team that I've led. Look at all of this excellent and big things that I've done. It's very important that you take off all of the gloves of humility when you're applying. There's so many people who have done greater things than you've done, who have like a bigger, excellent track record than you do, and so imagine that you're not trying to be humble because I don't want them to think I'm arrogant. Please, humility does not help anybody when you're applying. But what I would say is be truthful in your application. Do not be humble for any reason. It doesn't help you in your application. So just to state that. There's something we also need to do. You would hear that Oluwafunmi said it was a challenge for her, for instance, to get a scholarship because of the requirements. And I'm referring to grades now. Some people want a first class, some people want a 2-1, usually a 2-1. And so it's an extra barrier for someone who has a grade lower than 2-1 to be able to get scholarships at times. And so one of the things that I would recommend is try and look for another way that you can demonstrate to the application reviewers that you have made up for that setback that you've got, or that challenge that you've got. So for instance now, if you've got a 2-2, I would strongly recommend, even though the application does not require it, that you do GRE or GMAT. Try and study hard and score really hard. And then in your application, make sure you make a reference to it to say that you know that your grade says this, but this was the challenge that you faced that maybe made you score really low grades while you were in school. but then just to demonstrate to, because I would like to demonstrate to you people what my intellectual capacity is at the moment. Please look at and find the sort attached. It's very important that you start to think, what gaps, what information gaps are in my application? Because at the end of the day, not all scholarship opportunities or application reviewers would come to you to say, can you explain why you don't have this, or why there's this problem with the application? And so it's very important for you to try and predict the kinds of questions that might come up when your application is being reviewed, and that you can answer them. So for grades, for instance, I've given you the example of, oh, can you find another way of demonstrating your intellectual capacity at the time of the application? So even if they don't ask you for something, try and use it to demonstrate how you've overcome that barrier, or how you're better than that maybe that poor result or that poor experience you don't have. It's very important that you address those. Think about the kinds of questions they have. Just get into the mind of the application review and answer them before you submit your application. Three other things that I would say quickly. Be tenacious. You don't always get an application, get an opportunity the first time that you apply. I did not. In fact, I've got a friend who, when I told him, so-and-so friend, I got into this program at Oxford, and he said, bless it, if anybody is going to get it in this country, it would be you, because you've been trying really hard to get into this, to get this opportunity, like since 2016. And so I know that this is something that you've worked hard for and that you deserve. And so I started applying 2016, 2017 didn't get in. It wasn't 2018 that I got in. So it's very important that be tenacious. You're not alone. If and like MD said, sometimes when you don't get an application, get an opportunity, it's not because you're not great. It's not because they don't think you would be a good fit for the program. It's because somebody was just better able to demonstrate something, something that they didn't for, and they just weighted it at that point higher than what you had to offer. It doesn't mean you're not great. And so try next time to apply again. But the good thing is, every time you fail, it means that you've learned a way of not doing something the wrong way. So so is it Thomas Edison, or who he now knows, is it 9,000? Is it 991 ways of doing something wrong? And now he's going to try one more way that is right. And so it's very important that you consider every failure, every rejection, and with building your muscle memory for how to do something right. Think about the practice. But hopefully, I'm hoping that the first times we apply, that we get these opportunities. Get help with your applications. You might not always have that privilege, but then if it's possible, talk to as many people as you can, especially those who have more experience than you do, to take a look at your application and provide their feedback. They might see, remember what I said about thinking about gaps in your application or questions that might arise in your essays, etc., that you, the blind spots you don't see in your application. These people who have better experience might have those questions and then ask you, and that might give you the opportunity based on their review for you to address them and those things through your application before you submit them. Final thing I would say, well, I'm a Christian. And I would like to believe that a lot of us here believe in God. Please pray. You just do your own, do your own parts. You've done your own hard work. Submit your application and pray that God has mercy on you, and that you find favor with your application. So, in a nutshell, that's what I'm going to say until we go to the Q&A. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Blessing. Thank you so much, Blessing. Praise Tochi Ede is asking. Okay, 6 seconds off. Thanks so much. I think everything you said, everything MD said, everything Oluwa Fumilayo said, there are questions that keep on coming up that people keep asking. So I'll just take a few questions here from the questions that participants have asked, and you could answer it. So you could answer it, the panelists could answer the questions. So I think there was a question that Ede on asked about tuning. I think he mentioned something about using a choral tool to ask. So there are questions to as an example. There are questions here. I didn't really get question, but it was up on screen. So I'll start from the first question. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you for putting up the question, EMC. I'll start with the first question. Yes. How do I write a convincing statement of purpose? How do I write a convincing statement of purpose? So, MD, if you can help us with that, how do I write a convincing statement of purpose? We'd like to hear how to write convincing statements of purpose.
Okay, so I'm back. I'm back in the show now. Can you pin the question? You have pinned a different question. You have pinned a Chivney question. How do I write a convincing statement of purpose? Now, it goes back to the exact
Statement
point
of
I've
yes.
actually made. Yeah. So a statement of purpose literally is you showing how you relate or represent or embody what the university or the scholarship body is about. Now, a statement of purpose for the university may be different for a statement of purpose for the scholarship body. They essentially do the same thing, but it comes down to the fine details. Like one of my senior colleagues will say that the devil is in the details. Yeah, the devil is usually in the details. It comes down to who is asking you to write a statement of purpose and for what reasons. So let me make it a little simpler. If you're writing a statement of purpose for a university where you are trying to apply for admission, first, one of the things they're looking at is you justifying why you have chosen the school. And you will not just say that I have chosen your school because your school is fine, I like the campus. That's not how to say it. You want to show that everything you've done with your life and with yourself has prepared you up until this point to take that opportunity. So if I were you, I'll start with a kind of high level subject matter that I'm really excited about or I'm working on, or something that I really performed well at, while in my undergraduate studies. There's some course, there's no outdoor somebody is. There's one course that you always had going for you. If you flash back to your days in school, there's a course you can still remember. You have some connection with that thing anyways. And hopefully you want to proceed in researching it or in expanding the frontiers of that, of that subject matter. So start with the problem that that thing speaks to. Start with how you have responded to it. You can reference one or two modules of the course you took. So if you study computer science, you want to talk about system design, computer thinking and logic, blah blah blah, that you did, and how you have been able to apply that to real life. Then immediately you link it to one of the things modules you'll be taking in this new university. So your statement of purpose needs to have some of this, and then you can now talk about general things about the kind of curriculum they have, the kind of format of education, the ranking of the school, the opportunities around the city, for example, and be human. But you have to start with that priority of, subject matter, modules you've taken, modules you will be taking, the people who are going to be teaching you, and you order it like that. If you do that generally, you would be fine. And if it's for a scholarship body as well, they do have things they care about. So the things you care about, aligning with the things they care about, definitely, that's how to go about it. In writing your statement of purpose, you'll be almost there. But it also helps if you're in doubt to ask for help from someone who probably, is an expert in this thing or has done it a couple of times. They may be able to help you rework what you have. I don't know if that's from my end. Okay, it's not from my end. So, as someone who has some experience in personal statement writing or coaching can able to help you rework what you have. Sometimes they'll have to just rephrase the things you have written and say the same thing in a different way. Okay. Sometimes they just help you use different words, or sometimes you are repeating yourself in maybe paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. You have said exactly the same thing. They can help you vary it and share a different side to your story. So that's how to write a personal statement. If that, I hope that helps. Is Favor there?
Apologies. It seems like Favor is having network difficulty, so I'll just step in here. Favor, please let us know when you're back on. Thank you for that amazing answer. So because we're behind.
Okay, hi MJ. I don't know if you're still talking, but we can't hear you if you're done answering the question.
Yes, I'm done. I'm done. I'm still talking. I'm done with the first question.
Okay, thank you so much. Thanks so much for injustice. So if you've been thinking of how to write a statement of purpose that is compelling, MD has mentioned every single thing, every key point you need to include in your statement of purpose. So in line with Praise question, that is, can you use a current evening scholar for
Oluwafumlayo, can you answer that question?
Okay. Hi everyone. So Chevy typically says that you should ask for recommendation, you should request for a recommendation letter from someone who has worked with you in a supervisory role, a partnership, a collaboration, or anything. The most important question here is, what is the relationship that you have with the scheduling scholar? Have you worked together in a leadership capacity with that person? Has the person supervised you before? Have you worked together in a project? Can the person write an appropriate recommendation letter for you? So what matters here is not the fact that they are a scheduling scholar. What matters is what you've done with them before and how well they are able to provide a recommendation letter for you. Also, in my case, I remember that my recommendation letters for both scholarship were written by one from my professor in school and then the other from my boss at work. Both of them are literally, they're not big people in the space. They're just ordinary people who knew a lot about me and who could vouch for me at any time. But I did read my recommendation letters, and I knew from my recommendation letter that I didn't have any problem because they were able to demonstrate that I had leadership skills. And my professor wrote in his recommendation letter that I participate actively in class. And after I graduated from the university, he followed my work and he knew that I had a lot of leadership skills that would be very important for me while studying for an human rights course. And he knows that I can participate actively. So those are the key and the most important things in your recommendation letter. Having a scheduling scholar write a recommendation letter for you does not, I personally don't think that it puts you above or behind others. It's just there. What matters importantly is what the person is writing in the recommendation letter. Also, I have realized that many people have this fear of scheduling. They usually think that you have to have done lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of things to be able to apply for scheduling and to be able to get scholarship. But in the course of my application, I have read lots and lots of amazing scholarships, and I have seen, like Tiami said, that the most important thing is how you tell your story. I remember that someone got the scholarship by simply saying what she did with her church. She would they would donate clothes, donate books, and all that. It was within the church. It was a service that she rendered to the church, and then she used this to apply for the Chevron scholarship, and she got it. So it doesn't have to be big, high-end, or anything. It's just you telling your story in an amazing way and showing that you're the best thing after sliced bread. So I hope I've answered the question.
It's frozen again. Can anyone hear me? I guess not.
Yes, I can hear you, Blessing. We can hear Favor at the moment, though.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, about now, yes.
Okay. Okay, so I think the question chosen act has been answered. I'll ask the next question here. Do you have to write any, how do you write like GRE? There are two questions, and then next one is how do you go about sourcing external funding that's not from the school you're applying for? Whatever that means. How do you go about sourcing external funding for the school you're not applying for? So, Blessing, please, if you can help us answer this question. Hi, Blessing, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me now? I just realized that my mic was on mute. Okay, so I do not have experience applying for scholarship. Maybe what was available for the program that I applied to. But I think that maybe what you could do to get external funding would probably be, I see a lot of people doing GoFundMes. I know someone who talks to his friends who had some change and they put together a plan of how they could support that friend monthly with maybe living expenses while that friend was in school. GoFundMes, and I know that sometimes if you talk to influential people in society, usually, well, sometimes, I can't say usually, they also help. So perhaps that's something you could explore. I also know that some people put together and pay the initial advance fees for the monies they've saved or put together, and then try to get a job while they're in school to augment the money that they need for their living expenses. So there are several things to explore. It's going to be hard. Yeah, it's going to be hard, but something worth exploring if you're really, really determined to continue their education, even though you didn't get a scholarship straight away.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much for.
Again, thank you so much for that amazing answer, Blessing. That was very useful. So there's a question about, is it
Okay,
safe to
so
put
I'll ask
on
the next
hold
question. Yes,
application
that's it. Thank you
processing?
very much, Blessing, for answering the question. I'll ask the next question. Okay, so there are several questions here that asks how to get a scholarship. Is it necessary for a scholarship just for first class students, and is it necessary for second class students to get? Is it possible for them to get the scholarship? So Oluwafumilayo mentioned that she graduated with a tutu and she has gotten several scholarships. So that question is answered. It is possible for second class graduates to also get scholarships. Scholarships are not just for first class graduates and 2-1 graduates. So the next question, the next question I'll ask is, do you need to have carried out a personal impact project to be considered for any of these scholarships? Do you need to have carried out a personal impact project to be considered for any of these scholarships? So MD, please, if you can help us with that question. Okay, MD is not here. Oluwafunmilayo, please, if you can help us take that last question. Do you need to carry out a personal impact project before applying for any of these scholarships?
I don't know. Can you hear me? Perhaps I can take that for me.
Yes, I can. I can hear you.
Okay, I don't know. Okay, I'll just take it. I think it's very important to. So it does not necessarily have to be a social impact project that you do, but you need to demonstrate your leadership abilities one way or another. And that could be through the job that you're doing, how excellently you're doing it compared to your counterpart or compared to what is in your job description. And if you're not able to do that at work, perhaps you do not have the, should I say, the free hand, or should I say free rein to do that at work, then you'll probably have to consider an alternative, and that's maybe through some volunteering projects, through pet projects, through some social impact projects. The whole essence is to show that you've got leadership abilities, you're excellent at what you do, and that it's something that the program, something that will serve as the foundation for the program of scholarship that you're applying for, and to amplify or to grow or to accelerate. You need something. It's either your job, your paid job, or the social impact projects that you do. Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much, Nesting. Thanks so much for answering the questions. So this we are bringing the session to an end now. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. What we are continuing the conversation on Twitter. This conversation is going to continue on Twitter, and you can ask your questions using the hashtag AGS Milestones. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Please let's continue the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag AGS Milestones. Hashtag AGS Milestones. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter, to follow us on Instagram, to follow us also on LinkedIn. Check our website, check out what we do, what the Abuja Global Shapers is all about. That's a question somebody asked here, but it's something that when you go through the website, you will know what the Abuja Global Shapers is all about. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. Please let's continue the conversation on Twitter with the hashtag ADS Milestones. You can also ask your questions using that hashtag and they will be answered. So the next
Good evening, everyone. Am I to go now? Can you hear me?
Yes, please, we can. Yes, we can. Please go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, once again, and thank you so much for participating in this very important section. I really hope it was worth your time and, most importantly, your data. I'll briefly take us through what the Global Shapers Community is all about. So, before I start, my name is Dr. Princess Ike, and I am the curator for the Abuja Hub of the Global Shapers Community. Born out of the World Economic Forum in Geneva, Switzerland, the Global Shapers Community Abuja Hub is a network of inspiring young people working together to address local, regional, and global challenges. Globally, we have over 15,000 members that spans across 450 city-based hubs in over 150 countries. We are diverse in our expertise, race, education, income, but we all share a common goal, which is our desire to bring about positive change in our communities. The Abuja Hub was one of the first hubs created by the Global Shapers Community almost 11 years ago, and our founding curator was the late Ken Saruwiwa Jr. May his gentle soul rest in peace. So in each city, basically, we have a team of shapers that self-organize projects that meets the needs of our communities and even beyond. So we carry out projects that are tied to our six impact areas, which includes building inclusive communities, reskilling for the future, improving health and well-being, delivering basic needs, protecting the planet, and strengthening civic engagement. So this Milestones program is actually under the Reskill for the Future, also on our EEP program, Employability and Entrepreneurship program, which is what we are doing under this particular webinar that you all have joined. For protecting the planet, we have so many projects that are tackling climate change, from planting over 5,360 trees in a pandemic 2020 that also pretty much extended beyond to early 2021. Currently, we are also doing what we call the Recycle for Education project, where we're collecting plastic bottles and trading that off to also send underprivileged students and pupils to school. So please, if you have plastic bottles that you're using or you're thinking of throwing them away, please, it can also be very useful in sending someone to school. So pretty much is like I've mentioned earlier, the community is for young people who are inspired and motivated to bring about change and drive dialogue also in their communities. It's open to everyone. We are inclusive, we are equitable. So our recruitment cycle is yearly, which should come up within the next 1 month. So our advice, like currently on the screen, you can see our social media platforms. So I encourage everyone on this call to please follow us on our social media platforms and turn on your post notifications so you'll be among the first people that will see our recruitment cycle immediately it is being published. This is an entirely volunteer role where shapers devote their time, expertise, and resources to bring about positive change. And I believe that each and every one of us can come together and create that change. And we can't wait to also host you in future on further events, as well as also welcome you into the hub for the next recruitment year. Thank you so much. And we'll thank you also to the panelists. This session has been so amazing. Thank you to Favor for moderating this session and Yemisi for spearheading this. So that's a wrap for me. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, curator. I hope everyone can hear me. Kindly confirm. But my name is Jesse Dan Yusuf, and I serve as the vice curator of the Abuja Global Hub. And just as our curator, Princess Ike, just mentioned, our recruitment cycle is coming up soon. So if you know anyone that, or if you as well are looking to be part of the Global Shapers, we are looking for people like you, actually. So thank you once again to our panelists, to MD, to Olufumi Layo, to Blessing, and our moderators, Yemisi and Favor. So please, on your screen, you're going to see a link, and which is the thing, the link bit.ly, the bit.ly link, milestone survey 1. Please, we will love to hear from you, feedback from you. And if you fill the form within the feedback form in the next 24 hours, we are going to email you a certificate of attendance. Please, we will love to hear from you if this was impactful. Also, We are hoping to host more of these. So just stay in touch, subscribe to our YouTube, and I think we're going to leave the video online so you can share to anyone you know this is going to be impactful for them. So thank you once more. Over to the team. Have an amazing day, guys. Please follow our panelists. Yes, which the links are on the screen. And if you have any questions, you can DM us on our Instagram, on our Twitter, and we'll be there to answer your questions. Have an amazing day, guys. Have an amazing weekend. God bless.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Jesse. Thank you so much, Princess. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks so much to our amazing panelists. Thank you for joining in the session, for sharing so much insight with us, for sharing so much knowledge with us. We really, really appreciate it. Thanks so much to the team for putting this together. And thank you to everyone who joined in today's session. So like Jesse said, the video is going to remain up. Please share the link with someone, share the link to a friend, share the link with someone you love or someone you want to apply and get fully funded scholarships. Don't forget to follow us on our social media platforms everywhere. Let's continue this conversation on Twitter using the hashtag AGS Milestones. Follow us on LinkedIn, on Instagram also. And connect with our panelists on Instagram and Twitter. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in the session. Good night, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evening.